All right. What is up, fellow benchwarmers? Welcome to another live Q&A. Actually, it's been a while since we did live Q&A session. I forgot which week. But my name is JJT with
Yes,
Kamish Eric. We're live. Week 14. How's the week going so far, Kamish?
better than the previous weeks. My weak teams are still weak. The strong teams are doing okay, but
Uh,
the schedule is kind of as we know all over the place this week. So
yeah.
let's see what will happen the last three games of last three game days of the week.
If you are up like 7-2, 8-1, that can be deceiving because the last few days your opponent could catch up. Like my one of my current leagues, I'm up, I think 8-1. So I think, but he has slowly caught up to my team. So it's going to be crazy last few days of the week. What happened today? I wasn't able to catch most of the games. Any injuries? No.
Ah, let's look at my
Let's look at the report. Commission's
let's look
report.
at my report.
All right,
I
Mitch
do my
Robinson is out for 3 weeks.
yeah. That basically is the report. Mitch Robinson out 3 weeks. I did say that I feel like it's probably gonna be more than that, given Mitch Robinson's injury history. He took a third surgery with the thumb, so he's out 3 weeks. Christian Wood, a surprise,
Yeah.
fractured thumb, but surprisingly reevaluated in 1 week. So I would think maybe the thumb injury is not in his shooting hand, so maybe he could play through it after resting it for a while, maybe doing some, and I don't know, splints or anything. And then the Lamelo injury, just basically, it doesn't seem that bad. Good news for JJT. Didn't need X-rays and all those stuff.
Is
So
that good or bad?
I think that's good. No, not needing X-rays is very good. Usually X-rays is very standard. So not even reaching the X-ray part would mean that it's probably mild. But given the record of the Hornets, you will not be surprised if he rests. The 3 day break or 2 day break is perfect for him. He might still miss 1 or 2 games, but maybe not like before, where he missed like a month or so. I don't think that will happen this time. And as we talked about, it's not the same ankle that the second one that really cost him a lot of missed games. Not the same ankle, so it should be it should be better. It should be better this time.
So those are some of the injury reports. Just throw in, guys. Just throw in your questions there. We'll try to get through them throughout the night. We'll be here
Mm-hmm.
for about an hour. Usually, if the questions are a lot, we reach 1 hour and a half. Hold on. So yeah, just throw out your questions and we'll get to them. Um, so today, just some quick updates. Jalen Duran played today. So we finally found his passport. Played. Had a good game, double double. Had a good solid double double game, and I think three stocks. I think he had three stocks, so that's good news for Jalen Duran owners. What else? Some Cam Johnson.
Well, just to mention the Duran thing, I actually put him in my rotation observations. He came off the bench, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that is just because he lost his passport, so they're punishing him like a kid since he's only
Or
18
he
years
came
old.
from injury. Come on, give him a break.
Or he came from injury. But Sadiq Bey played well. Actually, I'm not too sure if this is just from an injury situation. I believe that the Pistons liked what Sadiq was doing, so they started him. Duran was down to 18 minutes. But this is just observations. These are things that just so that we know, we monitor closely. It's gonna take he's gonna take a hit if he's only gonna play 18 minutes, of course. But still, of course, it's a hold. And I do think that it will not last. The lower minutes will not last. I think it will go back up. Since the Pistons are not really gonna play for anything anyways.
Yeah. So Cam Johnson also
Yeah.
came back. I think he came off the bench though. for this game. Understandable because he came off what 4 6 weeks out, 6 to 8 weeks out. He did okay. He scored 19 points in solid stat line. He could be for those who are able to stash him, pick him up. He could be a big part of your team right now, considering that there's no Devin Booker for maybe a couple more weeks, and then no Chris Paul currently, and the Suns are really depleted, and they could really need some offensive firepower, and that Cam Johnson can do that. He was also good early in the season before he got injured, as always with Cam Johnson. I remember
Yeah.
last year he scored 40 something points, and then suddenly he was out too much for a long time. So yeah, he shouldn't be lying around the waivers at this point. Yeah, Cam Johnson should be a hold. All right, just
Should,
shout out. Yeah, go
okay.
go, Kamish. Before no, go if you have something to say. Well, shout
Well, with
them out.
Cam, Damian Lee started at point guard, no, not Dwayne, not Saban Lee. I think Chris Paul is near. Hopefully, the next game he's gonna be there. So if Chris Paul comes back, I'm sure Cam Johnson didn't start today, but I'm sure he's probably gonna be starting the next game. So they're gonna get most of their starting five back. I think they're gonna start Mikal, Cam, Aiton, CP3. I'm not sure about the fifth guy if it's gonna be Torrey Craig. Um, possibly Craig, possibly Damian Lee would stick.
Who started
So
early in the season?
who?
No, I mean, oh no, they don't have Booker right now, so that's why.
Yeah. They're starting Dario Saric, which I think he's gonna give way to Cam Johnson. So I think that's how it would be going forward. Could be Lee, could be Craig. One of the two will start while they wait for Devin Booker, who's still probably 2 3 weeks more. I don't know who comes back first, Devin Booker or Anthony Davis, who also got a good update today. He's now doing some non-contact
Anthony
drills and stuff.
Davis is ready to come back. I think the next week or so.
I think it's still February. I would
Really?
think it's 20 already, January 20. So early February at the very least, 1.5 weeks. I'll give it 1.5 weeks.
Yeah.
He's gonna need probably another week to get into the drills, from the drills to the contact part, and then maybe a couple of days of practice before he actually plays. So I think the update of Shams is right on the money. The early February, first few days of February update.
All right. Shout out to Kent Tornilia. Good day, sir. Thanks for joining us. Here's our first question from Lance Marion Ong. Is Trey Young still a good trade? A good for trade for Jimmy Buckets?
For Jimmy
Jimmy.
Buckets. So Trey Young, you will trade away Trey Young. Am I reading it correctly, or is he getting Trey Young?
So if you are, I'm not sure if he's getting Trey Young, so maybe you could clarify that. But who do you like here? Obviously
Trey.
Trey, right?
Trey. I
Trey.
still like Trey. I still like Trey. Um,
So I'm assuming
I
he's gonna get Trey Young, and he's gonna try to give away Jimmy Butler.
yeah, still okay. I think that's a good deal. Trey, no matter how he's banged up with his ankle and everything. Of course, he's struggling a little bit right now with that, and his game has suffered this year. He has suffered. This game has suffered shooting wise. 3 points are down, but overall, the assist is still clearly there. If this is Roto, it would be different story. But in head to head, you can still build around Trey with that elite assist, and the 3 pointers have been improving also. So you can still build around those strengths of Trey to minimize the weaknesses, and then hype up the strengths so that you can have a good team. So I will never say it's a bad deal if you trade away Jimmy Butler at this point of the season, which is week 14 to 15. This is crunch time, and you can't trust Jimmy Butler during crunch time. And if you can get a relatively
Hey,
durable,
it's
you play the
been
odds.
I don't want to jinx it, but it's been a while since he's missed a game or since he's been in the injury report.
Yeah. It's been a while. It's been a while, but still, you play the odds. I have Jimmy Butler also. I'm not trying to trade anymore. I don't have time really to do the negotiations and everything. But if I can, I would have traded him. I would
Uh,
trade him if I can.
all right, shout out to Tommy La Cruz. What's up, sir? Thank you for joining us. Philip
What
DC Pacheco. Yeah, go.
just to add to that Trey Young and Jimmy Butler trade. Okay, you can also look at the possible playoff situation there. Maybe try to check out that who has the better one, who has the better. Actually, I know it's Atlanta. Atlanta's a good playoff schedule. If you are playing our FPW league or
Week 20. If
similar
you're
to
playing week
ours,
20, if you're playing week
yeah,
20 to
22.
20, 21, 22, that playoff
Yes,
schedule.
yes,
So
yes, yes.
the point is just check on your playoff schedule to see who's got the better playoff schedule in your league. Because you might be doing the 21, 22, 23 or the 19, 20, 21. Those dates or those weeks would probably have different playoff schedules for different players, different teams. So yeah, you may want to check that out as well. Uh, Here, perfect segue. Philip DC Pacheco. Should Paul George be traded before fantasy playoffs? Not even before fantasy playoffs. If you can, sell your Paul George for the right value that you like, I think you should do it at this point.
Yeah. At this point, I don't even know if he's gonna be. There's a lot of reasons why you sell Paul George. One of them is his injury history, as we know. Another is the playoff schedule. If you're in week 20 to 22, they have the worst. Without even no questions asked, they have the worst. They have the worst playoff schedule. So those are two big reasons already for you to trade him. I mean, and he's not. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the Kawhi Paul George mix would be fantasy wise, but I think he's not gonna have as much usage with Kawhi playing very well lately. Also, so there are a lot of reasons really to trade Paul George, and
Yeah. The
yeah,
question is, who do you trade Paul George for? That's probably the biggest question because I'm pretty sure if you're in a very competitive league, they also know what's going on with Paul
yeah, they
George,
know, they know.
right?
The playoffs thing they might
Who would
not
you
know.
rather have though? Bucket, Jimmy Butler, or Paul George?
I'm gonna go Jimmy Butler again.
Just for
We're
the
now
schedule. Just for the
yes.
schedule.
Well, I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about the schedule of Paul George. No, he in week 20 to 22, he's gonna play 8 games total. That is assuming he's healthy. He's gonna play 8 games in 3 weeks. That is not. I mean, that's just 2 weeks worth of games. So that alone makes me, not like having Paul George, right? So anybody, Jimmy Butler, I would have Jimmy Butler. If the Trey Young owner is worried about Trey, maybe go with Trey. Even Bradley Beal is okay with me. Maybe wait a little bit if Paul George starts to play every game and then gets back into the groove, gets a 4 steal,
Yeah.
5 steal game, something
Maybe
like
a
that.
couple of weeks more, right? A couple of
Because
weeks more.
really, yeah, because really, right now, if you just say right now at this point, who can I get him for? Of course, you're gonna go. You have to search lower, a little way lower. Maybe I don't know if Garland would be available for Paul George. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Garland, yes, and I don't know if Zach Levine can go for can be a viable trade for Paul George, given how hot he is. But those kinds of
There's no
deals,
risk as well. I mean, there was an early season risk with Zach Levine, but I think that's been long forgotten already.
yeah,
The knee and all, I think he's played good enough, a lot of games, good number of games to say that he's looks like he's perfectly fine. So I think there's no risk. In a for a player like Paul George, you're probably going to have to look for some players with risk as well, right? Risk for risk and
yeah,
see which player has the higher risk. And that's why Jimmy Butler could make sense because we all know about Jimmy Butler sitting out games due to injuries as well. So there's risk in that. And you can find that in a lot of. You might want to try maybe a Lamelo to see if too high. He's
No,
injured.
no. Yeah,
He's
you can
injured,
go.
tanking issues, tanking worries, but still,
You,
that's risk for risk.
that's risk for risk. That's risk for risk. And I would, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know who wins in that trade. Paul George for Lamelo, because Paul George may only play 8 games, but I'm pretty sure the Clippers would need him to play during that time because they're gonna fight for positioning. Lamelo
Yeah,
might have more games, but I don't know. I really don't know if he's gonna be still playing by that time. Given the Hornets schedule, Hornets standings. So if you want my honest guesstimate, I think I'd rather have Paul George at this point than Lamelo, given that tanking risk. Could be SGA this year. Lamelo could be this year's SGA. It's
yeah.
very, very possible.
But yeah, that's I just mentioned that just because for the risk for risk factor,
Yeah.
the type of trade that you would probably get or be able to pull off for Paul George, or maybe
But we
just
could be wrong.
package.
We could be wrong. Our
We
guests could
don't
be
know.
wrong.
Actually, we don't know. We don't know
Yeah,
if
we're
he's gonna
just
play or not. They
yeah.
might be, even if he plays, they might be bad. And right now they're playing, they're still bad. So
That's
why
true. Very
why
good.
would we
Very, very
sit
good
you?
point.
I mean,
Yeah.
just play it out. And other than those freak injuries, I mean, I know he's been injured. Lamelo's been injured 3 times already this season, but all of those injuries are what freak injuries. The
Yes.
last one
Yes.
was
That's
even a
true.
freak one. The second one was him trying to get the ball,
Yeah.
save the ball, and then he stepped on a fan. That was a freak injury. It's freak accident. So we really don't know if he's gonna play or not. But again, if he
No,
plays, the upside
you,
is better.
you put up a good point. They suck even if he plays. So what's the point of resting him? That's a good point. And their standing is really very low
There,
right now. I mean,
he's injured anyway, so there's
yeah.
I
So
probably
so
would not get worse.
right now it's between them and Detroit, I think, and Houston, right? The three of them. So yeah, if they're like not that far from those three, I don't think there's a big difference in odds anyway. Between the top three teams or the worst three teams for the lottery odds. So lottery odds. So
How
yeah,
about a
there's
Paul George +1 for maybe an AD?
yeah that could work. That could work
Just add
also.
another player, another hot player there you might
Yeah,
have,
that's also risk for risk. That's also risk for risk,
right?
and yeah,
It's
that
probably the type
works.
of deals that you probably get for Paul George in a very competitive league. Um, Middleton, another player who is having problems with injury. Hero Gonzalez is asking about Middleton. Well, we don't know. He's close to coming back.
I
That's the
read something
news.
about Middleton. He said that the problem with his knees right now is chronic. He's dealing with this every off season. He always deals with the problem with his knees. The problem now is he didn't have an off season because he had a wrist surgery. So what he's experiencing right now, he usually experiences this during off season, and then by the regular season, it's already like healed or fixed. So he's saying that right now this is his off season, but when he comes back, he'll be up to speed. He'll be ready to play. That's what he said. That's what he said. But of course, hearing those things like the knee is already chronically in pain and all those stuff doesn't make it very assuring for fantasy owners. But my thoughts on him, I think he's gonna come back. I think he's not gonna be the Chris Middleton of old, but I think he's gonna be if you can get him for very cheap. I think he's gonna help you. No, he's gonna help fantasy managers as long as you got him cheap, or if you've been stashing him and then your team is still staying afloat. When he comes back, he's gonna be a bigger game changer, of course, than other injured players like Gordon Hayward or the others like Chris or even for me even Chris Paul in a way. No, even Chris Paul in a way
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
just my
well, Philip said Middleton should be traded, but I don't think the Bucks will trade Middleton.
Hard to trade him.
Hard to trade him. Plus, it should be with Giannis's consent, and I don't think he's gonna say yes to that as well. Um, all right. Some questions for next season. Wembanyama, what round are you gonna take him next season? There have been reports about him going first. I guess this all also depends on which team he goes to.
Uh, we- Everybody has their own opinion on Wembanyama. We have seen the highlights, but you have to watch the whole game to really see. Highlights are highlights. They're highlights for a reason because
Like what
everything's
like
good.
our friend said,
Yeah,
everything goes in during the highlights.
every shot goes in. He blocks
Every
every
shot goes
shot.
in.
He blocks every shot. He will dribble down the floor all the time and all those things. But I'm pretty sure he's gonna go probably if not second, maybe third at the very least already, very latest already.
Late
Could be
first.
too. Could be too. Depends on where he goes, of course. If he goes to a team that there's like some competition with the minutes, maybe that's too high. No, maybe that's too high. And I also want to see the summer league first, how he looks and everything else. That's too high
Again,
for
guy.
me.
I
First round
I
is too
just
high. Second round is too high.
I know he has been great throughout wherever he's playing right now. What is he playing, the G League, or what league, or
He's playing in the French league. He's playing
French
in the
league? All
French
right.
league.
So
Yeah.
I know that's great and all, but the thing about the NBA is that, like we've always said, this is the league for the big boys. And a lot of the rookies look good in what G League. Look at the players in the G League, the ones who are really, you know, former players in the NBA who've been, back and forth to the G League. They've been dominating G League. Some of these players are dominating the G League, but when they go to the NBA, it's a different game. It's a different,
Th- th-
pace, right?
That's
And
true,
for
but
rookies, it's not as easy as of a
that's
transition
true.
as well.
But to say to that point though, that's usually for college players, the G League, as you said. But Europeans, they find it easier in the NBA because it's less physical. It's less physical. I mean, Sengun, Luka, or all the rookies that have really done very well early on in their careers are from Europe. And these players didn't even play a lot. Even Ricky Rubio didn't play. I mean, Ricky did, but not as much as in the NBA. It's like when they get to the NBA, it seems easier. Seems easier for
It
them. So
is easier.
uh,
It is easier to
it
score,
is
at
easier for
least.
them, and the fact is they go to a terrible team that will give them all the chances to do what they want, unlike in Europe where tanking is not really a thing. There's really, they most teams really want to win. But having said that, I still feel like a first spending a first round pick on an unknown is too risky. I mean, he could be good. He could be like 22 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, good. But you can get similar numbers in the first round from a more proven guy, right? And a more proven player. So why would I risk it? And
I
unless you're
mean,
telling me he's gonna average 40 points and 20 rebounds and
if you
4
think
blocks.
about it, those numbers aren't even close to what AD did early this season, and he went
Yeah.
what, second round, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shea, for example, um, right? Fourth round, he's been doing what he's been doing, but of course, hindsight is different. Um, but yeah, I also think definitely not the first round. I think early second is a little too high, but maybe that mid to third, maybe I'll take some chance there. But
Let's put it in numbers perspective. I think around pick 25 to 30, somebody would take the risk.
take their chance. Yeah, take their
In
chance
your
for sure.
league, there would be an owner who would be crazy enough to do that. There's always one owner or two that will be crazy enough to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not crazy in the bad way. They might be a genius for doing that, but
Yeah, sure.
there'll be some managers who's gonna do that. Julius Lau said, should Phoenix join the Wembanyama? I think Phoenix, when healthy, they're still a lot better. Still playoff team at least when they're all healthy.
Yes.
And I don't
They
think
have a
they're
new
gonna do
owner.
that.
They have a new owner. Their new owner is approving all trades, even if it's gonna increase their salary cap and all those stuff. So even in the luxury tax, even if it increases, their owner is giving the green light to do those deals. So it's gonna be a different thing now in Phoenix, because before, even if they're doing well, like the owner is kind of not really the best, no, the best owner in terms of finances. He's trying to be thrifty. The new owner is not that, so I don't think they're gonna join the sweepstakes. Should they join the sweepstakes? I think yes, yes. They're not gonna win the championship this year. Even if Jeremy said that, I understand they're good, they're better, but they're not gonna win the championship. And anytime you don't win the championship, if you're near enough right now, where they're out of the top 10 already, if they're near enough the bottom, they should go for it. They should just go for it, and then you know, just try again next year. Just my take.
All right. Kent is asking, any thoughts on rumors about Collins going to the Jazz, Beasley to Cavs? Who spends? Dinwiddie? Who
Dinwiddie, I
spends?
think.
And Plumlee out of their respective teams. I'm second in our league and I'm concerned about these trade rumors. I'm in 18 team 15 cat. Oh my goodness. 18 team 15 cat with D technicals, ejections,
What's DQ?
disqualifications, I guess.
What's the
Foul
difference
out.
with disqualifications with
Fouled
ejection?
out if you get fouled out. If you foul
Oh,
out. I
maybe
don't know.
fouled out. Okay.
Maybe. What's FF? There's double
DD,
double,
double
triple
double,
double.
triple double. I don't
Man,
know what FF is.
well, if you are in these, if you have 15 categories, I don't think you have to worry about Collins, Beasley, Plumlee in those five categories because they're not known to foul out, get ejected. Um, but any rumors about John Collins? Well, looks like he's going to be traded.
The
That's my
problem with Collins is his contract. The problem with
yeah,
Collins is his contract. But I think Utah is the team that's been very, very, very
aggressive.
aggressive in getting him. Now, what will happen with Collins in Utah? I think it's pretty similar with what he is in Atlanta. To be honest, he's gonna probably have to share with Laurie. Laurie's been, unless Laurie's the one's going out, no. But I find it hard to believe that the Jazz will do that. But well, what do we know? But I think Collins and let's say Laurie, and then of course Kessler would be like Capella. I mean, it's for me just the same with Collins. No, Beasley to the Cavs would be also in a way the same, because the Cavs really probably need his scoring. I think Levert is also on the way out. I'm assuming if Beasley goes to the Cavs, Levert is gonna go either in that trade or in another trade. So I think Beasley will be the same. Plumlee though, and Dinwiddie. Now, if they're gonna be traded, that would be the one that's more concerning, especially Plumlee. Although Plumlee, even if he doesn't get traded, is already concerning, because, as we said, the Hornets could go, even if they're
He's
losing
one of the
anyways this time.
oldest there
Yeah,
as well.
he's kind
One
of
of the
kind of
oldest
old. And
players.
then there's Mark Williams. And then there's
Yeah.
Mark Williams. So
Come on, let's go, Mark Williams. Let's go. You have to play. You have to play with the next. Is it tomorrow? Do they have a game tomorrow?
no,
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 one
they
more
don't have a
on
game.
Sunday.
Saturday. Saturday. Is it? Oh no, Sunday. Sunday. So you have
Sunday,
to see Mark
yes.
Williams. So yeah, in reality, at this point, even if you are concerned, you might want to. But you're second in your league. It's so hard to pull off some trades with that. Lots of risk there if you're gonna try to trade some. Maybe Plumlee, maybe
Plumlee.
Dinwiddie.
I think
Um,
Plumlee is a good trade. Plumlee is a good trade.
yeah, it's a
A sell high for sure.
yeah. Because he's been playing well. He's what top 70, I think, right now.
Yeah,
With
maybe
the way,
Wendell Carter. Maybe try Wendell Carter. Wendell Carter's not been doing well. He just came off a very long injury problem. So something like that. I mean, that's trying to lessen the risk. But again, it's your it's your study of reading of the situation more than us, because we also have our own read, our own guess or hunch or study, but it might be different. I just feel like Plumlee really highest risk right now among those players you mentioned.
Yeah. Chino Mandigma asking Evan Mobley, do you
Yes.
think he gets better after the All
Yes.
Star break?
Yes, he will get better. It's actually been better. It's actually been better already.
What's your
It,
expectations though, Chino, of Evan Mobley? Because sometimes we tend to think that they're not as good because the expectations might be too high, right?
uh,
Same with
yes.
Scotty
Yes.
Barnes. I think that's another player where people feel that he's, although lately he's been better, but people
No,
feel he's underwhelming.
no, I think Mobley really has underwhelmed because his numbers are lower than last year. His numbers are lower than last year. He did improve on the free throws and everything, but it's still lower. We expected what? Even if he doesn't score, we talked about this before. Even if he doesn't score, last year he scored 15. This year he's scoring 14 and a half. So that is not what we expect. We expect at least 18, maybe 17 to 18 points. He's not in the double digits in rebounding, still just 8 rebounds. His blocks actually went down. Even the steals just the same, not even one steal. So it's really been underwhelming, but not bad. I mean, not really a bust. Depending on where you got him, of course, but not really that much of a bust. But I think he will be better. He's starting to get the blocks up back to 1.5 this January. And so if he gets more points a little bit, I think he's gonna get to where you drafted him.
All right. Chris Lito. Total for Cam Johnson. Should I trade my total for Cam Johnson? I currently have 6 centers on my team. That's a lot for 12
That's a
team.
lot. That's a lot. Yeah.
Uh, I'm assuming this is a 9 cat league, but that's a lot of centers. Oh well, maybe some of those are have power forward eligibility as well. So, um, total Jakob Bertel for Cameron Johnson.
I I'm okay
Do you
with that.
think?
I'm
Do you
okay with that.
think uh, Bertel's value should be higher than Cameron Johnson?
Yes. I had Potal in one league. A lot of managers wanted to get it, so there was a bidding war. At first it was Gary Trent. It was Gary Trent. That was the best offer I got because everybody was talking about another shutdown candidate, which is Potal with San Antonio.
Yeah.
That's why they were not
Or another
valuing him
trade
to the
candidate.
level that he's playing.
I
So
think
they're
his name has been thrown around in trade rumors as well.
Yes, and that is what I was giving back. The answer I was giving back, my argument. I said, what if he gets traded? You're gonna get too much of a steal if that happens, right? So let's balance
Yeah.
it out. Eventually, I settled for Jamal Murray. I was able to get Jamal Murray for Jakob Poeltl. So I think that level could still work. I think, in my opinion, Jamal
Yeah.
level could still work. D'Angelo Russell maybe could still work. Cam
The
Johnson
reason
is
I
okay,
asked,
but you know.
but that's like selling too low, right? Selling
Yeah.
lower than the market value. I think I just when I saw this, I just feel like Jakob has a higher market value than Cam Johnson. I mean, you could get maybe a little more than just Cam Johnson. Because Cam Johnson, when Devin Booker comes back, well, Cam Johnson's probably going to be what, the fourth option, third option, and would probably suffer. The fantasy value probably goes down a bit when 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 Booker comes back. Um, yeah, no, yeah. These are some of the comments from a while discussions a while ago. Aiken Bello, thoughts on Jonathan Isaac? Will he have an impact come playoff fantasy playoffs? Could be silly season type. If your fantasy playoffs maybe week 23 ends 22, 23, 24 maybe. I,
Yeah.
I, I could
We can
see
never
it
say. I mean,
silly season uh, part of the year. He could, they could just play him as part of their tanking
I
Uh,
never I never expected Oladipo to have as much of a big impact this year, this early with the Heat, because I thought, they're deep enough. They probably won't force it too much with him. But then everybody else got injured except him. So, stranger things have happened. What if the Magic also gets in? As Jeremy said, they always have some injuries before. Somebody always gets injured. So what if that happens to them? Then they have Isaac healthy. They probably use Isaac. Isaac is still good. I mean, he played in the G League a couple of games. He was still good. He still has those fantasy stocks,
yeah,
ability to garner stocks. So yeah, he can still have an impact.
but is he worth a hold at this point? No.
I'm not holding him unless you have an open IL spot. Then hold him. But if not, I'd rather just wait it out, because I feel like when he comes back, people will just add him like crazy, and then they will drop him also. When he suddenly misses one game, 2 games, he doesn't play as every other game or
Or
whatever.
plays like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, five
Yeah, something
minutes.
like that. You just wait.
Uh,
Just wait when he's really there.
Patrick Manyo is OO a drop. I would assume this is Onyeka or Kongu, because that's the only
Yeah.
OO I thought of. Is there any other OO?
I don't know
Onyeka
any
or
other
Kongu?
O, but
12
yeah,
team
Okongwu. It's probably Okongwu with
category
Capella
C.
back. With Capella back.
In a
Still
12
give him
team.
a couple more games. He's still starting. I don't know how long that will last, but the numbers are still decent enough, I think, especially for a center. If he gets to, as I said, my guess is it's even split, 24-24. That's what's gonna happen, and probably he's gonna be around 10, 10, 7, and probably 1 to 2 blocks. I think that's okay. But if you have a very hot free agent, then you can go ahead and drop him.
Also, this could probably also depend on where you are in the standings. If you're kind of worried about um, making the playoffs and all, um, you might try to trade him. He probably would have some good value as well. Just try to trade him for someone else. Um, and for some category, you might need more of. So yeah, that's my take on this. Instead of just dropping altogether. Here from Ron Araneta, if you are a Brandon Ingram owner, here we go. Brandon Ingram in around top 5 or 6 instance. Would you wait or trade him?
I
14
I'll
team 9 cat.
I'll wait. I've waited this, if you have waited this long.
Yeah.
Uh
Wait it out, let him play before you trade him. This is probably the lowest value that you're gonna get for Brandon Ingram.
and if you have waited this long already, you'll be selling him low, as JJT said, and then it would be the worst timing to do so, because
Yeah.
he should be back at the very least 1 week. Okay, 1 week. Let's say 1 week. That's, you waited what, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. You when you sell Brandon Ingram now, it's like the 7 week or whatever weeks he's out. You got the worst, because you took the 6 week out, and you gave the owner the 1 week. So it's like
And
the
you're not gonna
worst.
get a lot. You're not gonna get a lot because he hasn't been
Yeah.
playing yet. Yet you're not gonna get a
Yes.
good value for someone like Brandon Ingram. You're gonna get probably a seventh round, eighth round player, right? Maybe sixth, the highest. Which is, if he starts playing, then his stocks go up. His stock goes up. That's the time you might want to consider trading. It's not as fast as you talk about the trade now. It will be everyone pulls the trigger. You probably start talking about trading him maybe on his first, second game, right? Make some negotiations and then there, look for the right player or right offer that you would like. So yeah, wait for him. Angel John Maria, thoughts on Gafford, Man, Hart, 14 teams, 9 caps. Josh
Okay.
Hart, Josh Hart is okay, right? I mean,
He's
although,
struggling. He's struggling.
yeah, I was about to
Josh
say
Hart is
he's
struggling.
struggling a bit, but still a
Yeah.
hold.
Yeah. Yeah. He's still a hold. He has this. He has this period of time. He doesn't score as much, but the rebounds are still there. The assists are just around there. He's struggling, but I think he's gonna turn it around, be able to bounce back. The Blazers are not deep. That's going for
Yeah,
him. They're not deep, so he's gonna get the minutes as long as he's healthy. So he's still okay there. The others, Terrence Mann for me. To be honest, I'm not that much of a
streamer,
fan. Maybe not to the streamer effect because he's starting. He's getting 30 minutes or more. So
but
as I said, sometimes he has a big game here and there, but overall, fantasy profile is not that good. So, but if you as an injury replacement, maybe you need some help. He's okay. Gafford, I'll keep. I'll hold for now. Let's see because Beal just came back, affected Gafford some, but it's just one game. Let's give it a couple more games. Let's see how it turns out with Beal
yeah.
and Gafford.
Uh, all right. So Tommy commented malakas ang Dallas kung may solid backup point guard si Luka. They have Spencer Dinwiddie, right? But I don't. Is he the point guard? Right? He's the back. Well, he backs
Well,
up as the point guard.
maybe more than Dinwiddie. Some he's correct though. They're relying too much on Luca right now. When Luca rests, just nothing happens to their offense.
Yeah,
They need Jaden Hardy could be the guy, but Hardy's too young. He's
too
too raw.
young, rookie,
Yeah.
still a rookie, so maybe a veteran. Um, Angel tips on punting points. Durant is injured and lost Cade. Standings are tight till the bottom. What other cats you can pair with the punt points build? The problem with punt points, if you're gonna try to, it really depends on your other players, right? Where you're
Wait,
strong at.
yeah. But when you punt points, you probably would be weak on threes in a way, in 3 pointers in a way also because a lot of good 3 point shooters, lot of players who hit a lot of threes are strong in points. So for me, when you punt points, the steals and blocks have to be there. No, have to be elite there. I think turnovers you can win that already because you're not gonna get a lot of stars. No, you're not gonna get a lot of stars. So when you had what other cats you can pair with punt points, I think it's those categories. Those stocks, those turnovers, those are the things you consider. One percentage you have to get. Either you go free throws or field goal. I would say you go field goal. That's what I will do. Free throws because there's lots of punt points guys that are poor free throw shooters. Ben Simmons is one. Draymond is
Mm,
another, right? I mean, they're poor free throw
yeah,
shooters. So I think you go with the field goal more than the free throw. Just drop free throws with points. There's a lot of even Kyle Anderson is weak with free throws. A little bit weak with free throws. So that's what I will be targeting. Caruso for one is another player you can target 1 points.
yeah.
So yeah,
The steals and blocks you should win, and then maybe the
I think
rebounding,
yeah, assist.
and the field goal and
The
assist.
field goal turnovers. That's the stocks, the turnovers, and then the field goal. You have to go the rebounds, as you said. Rebounds is another category you go for.
Yeah,
It's
but
hard.
the problem, but it's going to be hard because the problem with having a tight standings wherein everyone's in it, one big loss, you're out, right? 1-2-7 loss, you're out, and probably if you're punting, points and free throw already, you might just be winning 5-4s, which might not be enough for you to make it because other teams might be winning 7-2, 6-3s, right? So you have to
But he's
assess
still
that as
tight.
well.
He said he's still tight there, so
Yeah, it's
maybe he's
still
not that far off. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's still possible. I'm just saying it really depends on the build, and probably the only challenge there is that you're probably not gonna be winning 6-3, 7-2 a lot, right? Because you're punting a couple of categories already, right? So 0-2 down at as early as before even this week starts. So yeah. Gian Berino, do you think Clay will ever play back-to-back games after the All-Star break? Having said the first game of the back-to-back will be a blowout. Uh,
Um,
you mean if the first game of the back-to-back is a blowout, do you think he plays the second
I think they'll
back-to-back?
be very. I think they're very disciplined with that because we talked about it in our regular episode that they said he felt some soreness in the knee. So they would probably try to monitor that, manage that, so that it won't go to a point where he has to miss games that are not back to backs. He's been playing well. He's been playing well, but if the soreness starts to bother him, that would be a problem. So I don't I don't think you should count on that. Him playing back to back games after the All Star break. I just feel like it's not gonna happen. But maybe once or twice he would, but not consistently. Like Conley, like how Conley was. Conley took a long time before he, like this year he played, I think, two or three back to backs already.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But like last year for the whole season, he did play back-to-backs for what 2 years straight.
yeah.
Uh, so yeah, that could happen. JC, do you think Jay Sims has a lot of value now? Jericho Sims.
Not that much, not that much value. Maybe in deeper leagues, 16, 18 team leagues will be there. 14, I'll add him, I'll stream him, see where it goes for the first few games. No, as I said, he probably has a better, cleaner, like TJ McConnell, cleaner substitute replacement for Mitch Robinson, like TJ McConnell is to Halliburton. So I probably prefer him than Isaiah Hartenstein.
Mm. All right. So, and a follow-up question from JC is hold or drop episode 2 coming soon. Yeah, maybe we'll try to plan that out in the next few days. So yeah. Aiken Bello, thanks mga paps. More power on your show. Thanks, Aiken, for joining us. If you have questions, just throw that in. Aldrich Trinidad, rest of the season outlook for Grimes, Murphy, Nemhard, and Jalen Williams. We like Jalen Williams. He was part of Commission's list for maybe the second half of the season breakout, although he's rosterable at this point anyway. Murphy
Not
um, really
not as
depends
much.
on Zion. Yeah, it
Yeah.
really depends on Zion. BI as well, Brandon Ingram. We might forget about that. If those two guys come back, as soon as those two guys come back, I think he's gonna be droppable already, like he has been in the past. Right?
We can see these things like Melton. We knew Melton was good, but we knew when Maxi comes back, when Harden comes back, he's gonna have a problem, especially when both come back, and that is what's happening right now with Melton.
Yeah,
And that is what will happen with Murphy. No matter how I like Murphy, if they're healthy, and which we should assume they will be healthy at some point, rest of the season. We're talking rest of the season. They will be healthy at some point. Then the outlook for Murphy won't be that good rest of the season. Unlike Grimes,
yeah,
who is not as good as Murphy for me, fantasy wise, but I think his role is very secure. He doesn't need any injuries. He would still be contributing, not consistently, as right now he's struggling. He was hot, then down, and right. So
yeah.
there, Nemhard, well, not much.
Nemhard, yeah. As soon as Halliburton gets back, value plummets a lot
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Nemhard. Um, so there. Lester Allen Pacheco looking to activate Paul George from IR. I play 16 team head to head, sitting third comfortably. Who should I drop? Dylan Wright, Grimes, Mark
Oh
Williams,
man, this is tough.
McConnell, DSJ.
This is
Who do
tough.
you drop?
That's a good. That's a good. That's a good. Wow, this is hard.
You know what? Is it an IL or an IL plus? Because if it's an IL plus, if you are third, comfortably third, I'll just keep it Paul George there.
Yeah, yeah. But if he wants to like stream already or make moves also, he can make a move already at this point. Mm, I would probably drop DSJ. I would drop DSJ because given the report on Lamelo being positive, that it's not really gonna take a long time. Eventually, you will drop DSJ. That's just how I look at it. That's just how I
Yeah,
think about it. If I'm gonna drop him eventually, well then he's not part of my permanent core. Then I'll drop
yeah,
him first. It doesn't matter. I'm getting Paul George anyway. The others are probably gonna be part of your core when you need them the most, which is the playoffs. Of course, Lamelo can also be out during the playoffs and DSJ suddenly becomes valuable during the playoffs. But you cannot know that right now. You just plan with what you know right now. And you know that Lamelo supposedly, again, the reports are it's not serious, the injury. So
yeah.
I'll drop DSJ.
So for me, if you're comfortably third and you're not even, you're close, especially your matchup now, just probably wait for the next injury play, next injury to happen.
That's also correct.
Because Paul George
Yeah.
might not play back to backs anyway. That's one.
Yeah.
And, wait till, Paul George gets going. I can maybe afford to wait until Paul George really gets back to maybe 90 to 100% before playing him. So, yeah, uh, it's
Also,
all on you. We have
I
different
will answer
opinions
the break.
about this, but yeah, I also agree though. DSJ is probably the droppable player.
If although if you are not in third position, you're like fighting for a playoff spot, I would probably drop Dillon or Mark Williams, one of the two, because I think DSJ could have 2 or 3 games of good value while Lamelo is out. He might explode in the near future, but you are playing for the longer game. That's why I think you should not
Yeah.
care about the short term explosion of DSJ.
Yeah. Eggy Ardevela, is Mitch Rob a drop? 14 team 9 cat. Already have Nick Middleton Hayward. Hayward is a drop. I'm telling it to you now.
Yes.
Hayward is a drop. Instead
Hayward is a
of
drop, and
Mitch Rob.
I'll actually drop Hayward or Olenek before I drop Mitch Robinson. The
Yeah.
injury of Mitch Robinson is 3 weeks. It could be 4 weeks. That will be around week 18. Plus, we have an All Star break, so probably week 17. Probably week 17 or 17 or 18, because we have an All Star break. That's 2 weeks. So that's still before the playoffs, and the injury is the thumb, so it's not gonna affect his conditioning as much as compared to an ankle or a knee. So
Yeah.
I will not drop Mitch Robinson. Even if you want to drop Mitch Robinson, maybe just trade him. Somebody will pick him up for sure, or get him from you
Hayward.
for sure.
Hayward is a clear drop. I've
Yeah, it's a
seen
clear drop.
pretty much a lot of Haywards in a 14 team league. So obviously,
Yes.
no one's picking him up. So that's at least from the sample size of our leagues. We have around more than 10 leagues. I've seen him, there in the waiver wire. No one's picking him up. So obviously a drop. Um, yeah, yeah. Olinik is the next one. I agree as well. Olinik is the next one. But hard to drop Olinik at this point until he returns. I haven't seen Olinik in the waiver wire. Um,
Well, yeah.
Rubes. Ruben Terrado of spin.ph. Considering trading Claxton for a 3-point shooter, deep league roto, any suggestions? My team is good in blocks. That's high value, 3-point shooter. Who's a good player? Claxton can give you maybe a third round player. Well,
mm,
this is roto
I
though,
think
so this is need per need.
this is need for need. This is need for need. Roto is really a trade based on needs, no. So it 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 depends on you can get higher. Can get how it depends on how desperate the opposing manager is in trades. So it can go higher, but Claxton third round maybe not. I think unless really they're playing like two center leagues, and then center is a premium. But okay, well, Clay is Clay is averaging around what 3 or 4 3 pointers. So I would say Clay is one player you can target. But if you want somebody safer,
Gary Trent.
yeah, but Trent is okay also. Maybe that's the low end. Clay, Trent, maybe these are the low end guys, or Anthony Simons. These guys are the low end. And Fernie Simon is averaging, people might not know it, but he's averaging 3.6 3 pointers
Buddy
this year.
Hield.
Buddy Hield is also good. You can easily get Buddy Hield, I think, for Claxton. If you're really just concentrating on 3 points, Buddy Hield is the best. It's the best bet. He's averaging what? 4?
Four, almost four, I think.
I think around 4, 3.8. So, but as I said, Simon's is averaging 3.6. So they're not far off. Simons and Buddy Hield. And Simons might be slightly better field goal shooter. It might not hit your field goal as much as Buddy. Buddy's shooting 41% from the field.
What's the high point for a Claxton 3? Because like you said, these are low ends, easy to get. You'll probably be able to easily get them.
Paul George. Let's put it that way. I mean, uh, that's high. This is Roto though. This is
Yeah,
Roto.
no.
So it's just, it's not like head to head. No, in Roto, I think, yeah, Paul George probably you can get him. You can get him for 3 pointers. Paul George is also averaging a lot of 3 pointers a game.
Maybe 3.
Quite high, I know, quite high, but Claxton is also very high right now. So
No, Claxton's
aim high.
game plus name value, really high, I think. That's why I threw out a third round player.
Yeah. And
Name value
well,
is there.
that's true. There's name value.
All right. Ron Araneta, can you explain what really happens after the All-Star break? Why do some players play better? Well, I don't know.
It's usually the young ones. It's usually the youngsters who play better after the All-Star break. For one, I think the pressure is off. Sometimes you're too far off the playoffs already. They play looser. Second, loose as in not as tight anymore. And then another is the young players have adjusted more.
Yeah.
With the kind of game or the roles that they're expected to play. Well, for the veterans, in veterans, sometimes they sleepwalk through the first half of the season, and then the second half comes. They try to psych themselves up that this is the real season. We'll start it already. We have to get ready.
Yeah, plus
get ready
of course,
for the playoff.
it gets closer to the playoffs. So if you are, fighting for a playoffs position or playoff spot, you try to get there, try to make it, right? And you play harder, play better, right?
And coaches, not only in the NBA, even in other leagues, they don't want their team to peak very early, right?
Yeah, very early.
They try to get ready, get them ready where they will peak as the season, ends or goes to the crunch time period, the playoffs or whatever they call it in different leagues. So I think that's another thing also.
Yeah. All right. So wait, I'm just trying to get here. All right. So we answered that. Should we, Irving Villanueva, should we trust any injury reports by Charlotte Lamel's? Yeah, that's what I said. It did not look good, but it said that he did not require any X-rays.
Did it not look good?
It did not.
I mean, from what I saw,
no. I think the way he went out, it did not look good. The way he went back to the locker room, it did not look good.
Yeah. I'll take that. But it did not look that bad. I mean, he was stepped on, but it did not look well. The first one looked really bad. The first injury, the one that cost him, I think, a fracture or whatever in the ankle, that was bad. Even the second one didn't look that bad. The one where he stepped on a fan on the sidelines, it just looked like a normal sprained ankle. So I don't know. Maybe that one didn't look good. It cost him a long time. Maybe this one looked bad. That one looked not that bad, but it cost him a long time. This one you said looked not good, but maybe causes him less time. Maybe something like that. Do I trust injury reports by Charlotte? No. Hayward is still out, even if I don't know how long they've been saying that he's near. He's still out, so I don't trust it. But I trust Lamelo. I didn't read any injury report from Charlotte. I just uh listened or read what Lamelo said, and he said that it's not that bad. If Charlotte's not gonna play him, even if it's not that bad, it's on the team. You know,
Yeah.
we can't do anything
Uh,
about that.
so next one from Press Leonardo. Better dynasty player, Sengun or Jabari? That's the first question. Then Ivy or Durant?
You know my answer.
Sengun. The answer
Yeah,
for by commission is Sengun. I also think it's Sengun. Come on,
it's Sengun.
he was the Turkish League MVP at what age 18, 19?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that says a lot, right? So this could be a Luca in the making. Maybe not as good as Luca, but at least somewhere close.
It's
Um,
there's there's Jokic, there's Sabonis, there's Sengun.
yeah,
Simple as
yeah,
that.
yeah. I
If you're
think that's correct. I think among the international players, that's probably
yeah,
the hierarchy.
yeah,
Well, you
for
can
now.
add the Yanis there and all, but for the pure centers, I guess, because Yanis is a power forward. For the centers, I think that's it.
No, just
The,
even the skill
just
set.
the style of play,
Yeah, yeah. The
style and
style, the
skill set.
skill set. And I think Sengun is gonna end up like Sabonis in terms of his stats right now. What Sabonis is doing. Eventually, when he grows, his body improves further, and then he gets more experience. He would become something like that. I don't think he will reach Jokic levels, but Sabonis he can get that. Ivy or Duren, I like Duren. I really like Duren. So I think both of them have holes in their fantasy game. Ivy's very inefficient. Duran lacks a little bit of
The blocks, the stocks.
diversification. Yeah, the stocks not as good. It's just really rebounds and points. But
But
overall, I think Duran is skillful. He's very skilled big man that can still develop in the future seasons.
plus, the Ivy can hurt you in a lot of ways. The turnovers,
Yeah,
the field goal. Duren, although he lacks the stocks, well, at least he has good field goal. He can shoot free throw for a big man. That's okay. He can rebound. You don't expect him to score much, but if he can give you like what he did today, 11, 12 points, you'll be okay with that, right? For
yeah.
Ivy, the field goal is going to be really bad. So, and the turnovers. Plus, the other categories are not elite enough to take the bads. That's it, right? I mean, you can complain about Trey Young's bad field goal from time to time or the 10 turnovers, but at least the assists are elite, right? The threes, he can score, he can do a lot of more things, right? So you'll take the good with the bad. Ivy, you'll probably not be satisfied with the good and you'll probably hate the bad. So yeah.
Yeah. I
Kyrie for Lamelo.
I would stick with Kyrie. I would stick with Kyrie.
Yeah. I
Um, for a change. For a change. Kyrie is the safe one this year.
Yeah, I think I also like Kyrie. Lester asking about Duran playing 18 minutes off the bench in his first game after. Do you expect him to be bench
Yeah, we talked about
again?
this at the start of the show. The
Probably just being careful. Probably, yeah, just observe. I mean, not yet worried at this point because there's really no one there to start.
I think he's 18 minutes. The off the bench thing might stick. That might stick. They could just return him on the bench off the bench compared to starting. They could just change that every so often. Right now Sadiq is hot, so maybe they start Sadiq and they play small. They try it. They still have to show that they're trying to win. Right? They're trying to compete. So maybe if Sadiq is playing well, okay, we'll play Sadiq. But the charades will end come February, mid to late February, and they will just go, okay, let's just develop our guys. The off the bench can stick, but I think the 18 minutes will be higher, even if he plays off the
Yeah.
bench. I think it
Maybe
will reach
max
22,
25,
22. Yeah, something like that.
maximum
Something like that.
25.
Yeah.
So yeah, not yet worried. Not yet worried at this point. We'll tell you. Always tune in or always listen. So we'll tell you when to worry. Outlook on Bronson by Ruben Terrado again. Sell high. Yeah, I think sell high. How high though?
The minutes are scaring him. The minutes are scaring me. I told you 40 something minutes this January. That's import numbers. Well, his father was an import in the PBA, so maybe he's their genes are used to this of playing 40 something minutes. Yeah, sell high, sell high. He's top 30 with the way he's playing this January. That's how high you should go. Somebody sells Drew Holiday, somebody sells Garland for Brunson. That's the only point guards I would consider. Zach Lavine maybe. That's the level that I would go. Even the Van Vliets, those levels. Of course, not the first rounder, but
Kyrie.
those levels. Who?
Kyrie.
Well, if you can get Kyrie for Brunson, of course you do it. But I
Well,
think
if you can get those players you mentioned, I think Kyrie could be in that level
Kyrie's
as well.
for me, Kyrie's higher than those players. For me, he's per game and totals right now. He's ranked way higher than
He
Drew.
is, but the name value he is lower than those people, right? People are still afraid that Kyrie would do something. So I think, yeah. So you put Kyrie higher than those guys, right? So that's the highest probably you can go.
Yeah, if the Kyrie manager wants to do that, sure, I would do that.
Yeah.
I would do that.
So yeah. So yes, he is sell high just because of the minutes. Last few, well, not really questions, but from press. Charlotte's the new Memphis and Orlando in terms of injury reporting. Yeah, well, yeah.
Agree, agree, fully agree.
And thanks, mga Pops. Nice to have this back. Well, we hope we can have it back every other week, maybe. We used to have it back every other week. So that's it. Just a quick one today. You can rewatch this and hope you were able to rewatch this as well in case you missed the live part. Yeah, if you have some questions, just message us or throw it in our socials. Or last one. Oubre versus Hayward in IL Plus. Oubre.
Ah,
Actually, I've seen Oubre drop, so you can drop both. But if you want to keep one, I think Oubre is the one to keep.
yeah, yeah, Oubre.
Yeah.
Although Hayward's coming back soon, but uh
So then that solves your problem.
actually Hayward's coming back soon, so I'll keep Hayward. Because if I drop Oubre,
No,
nobody will pick him up.
yeah, but that's not going to be a problem anymore if he was coming back. So just keep both.
Yeah, but I think like he probably can't wait anymore. So just to answer his question,
Yeah.
I think I'll keep Hayward at IL plus, drop Oubre. I think nobody's gonna pick him up at this point. The injury is
Uh,
still far away from healing.
all right, this one quickly. Best FA pickup you ever had.
Can't really
Bain,
remember.
Desmond
A
Bain
lot. Desmond Bain, yeah,
is the
Desmond
most
Bain last
recent,
year.
probably last year.
Yeah,
Desmond
last
Bain is
year.
the most recent. So probably I had one or
I
two
I did
maybe.
I did pick up Omar Asik once. I remember that. And then
Oh,
he had a
it's a
great
long
like
time ago.
yeah, he had a great playoff
Chicago,
run.
Omer Asik,
Yeah,
the New
he had a great
Orleans.
playoff run. This is long time ago. He had a good playoff run. I
It
think he had
is.
20 rebounds during the finals week or semis week. He won me a league. So I remember that pickup very well. But this was more of a pickup late in the season, not early, and then riding the player until the end, like Desmond Bain, as you said.
Yeah, Bain is the most recent. Last season, he wasn't even drafted, or he was drafted. If you were late, if you were early, drafting early, then no one drafted him. But if you were drafting a little late, somewhere during the summer league and all, he was being drafted late already, around 14, pick 12, 13. So yeah, but I probably got him in one or two leagues last season. So yeah, and top 20, top 25 last year. So I think that's good.
Yeah.
All right. With that, that's it for today's Q&A. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Thanks for all the questions. And as always, please follow us, subscribe to our Facebook page, to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter, FBW _podcast and FBW _com _Eric. And all right, that's it. Bye, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for our regular daily fantasy